for not just New York, but for the country. As Arthur has said in the past, George Washington stood in this very location. And so it is an honor to be here, along with many of my colleagues in city government, many of our staff, many of our Kenyan staff who are also here celebrating along with you today. So with that, it is my honor to introduce Commissioner Edward Mermelstein of the Mayor's Office of International Affairs.
Thank you, Commissioner Castro. So it's an honor to be here, and I'd like to welcome the ambassador from Kenya visiting us from Washington, D.C. So thank you for joining us, Ambassador. My name is Ed Mermelstein. I'm the Commissioner for International Affairs. I am so happy to join you all today as we celebrate a pivotal moment in Kenya's history. Kenyan Madaraka Day, also known as a Self-Governance Day. Self-Governance Day is an important reminder of the sacrifices and struggles that the Kenyans had to endure for their freedom and resilience, perseverance as well as their courage. Our great city is proud to be the home of a thriving Kenyan community. The contributions of Kenyans in the city are far-reaching and impactful, from the healthcare and education to the arts and culture. Kenyans have added to the vibrancy of our city. I also want to take this moment to thank Mayor Eric Adams for his commitment to New York City's immigrant diaspora communities. Once again, best wishes to the Kenyan community for this year's celebration of their Self-Governance Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And today also allows us to celebrate many of our community leaders that do so much work year-round in support of our immigrant communities. And so today, it is my pleasure to honor and introduce Ms. Jennifer Onomo, community leader and member of the African Council. Ms. Jennifer.
Let's lower the mic. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Habari zenu?
Nzuri.
Umekaribishwa.
Asante.
Okay. I humbly honor to give some brief remarks at this historic flag raising. Before I give you an outline of my remarks, allow me to thank the leadership of my native country, Kenya, for giving us leaders who are not only able to connect with opportunities in the United States, but tap into those opportunities and create a win-win for the US and Africa. Thank you, Your Excellency, including our hard-working ambassador, who had traveled from Washington, D.C. to come and be with us here today, and other dignitaries that have accompanied him, and people from the diplomatic community, civil society, the faith-based community, and the diaspora community at large, and not to forget the private sector. I would also like to thank the mayor of the city of New York for creating possibilities for Africa and the US to interact, connect, and work together. The diaspora worked with the mayor during his campaign and were inspired by the mayor's vision for Africa. It is the mayor's vision for Africa that informs my remarks at this momentous occasion. Here are some 3 submissions to the mayor and the Kenyan government for further consideration. Education for the dreamers and the other youth that are just coming into the US. The mayor We know you have a voice to set the tone about any developmental agenda in the US and beyond. I would like to know that many dreamers and those coming in from Africa have a dying passion for education, but they cannot afford it. May I submit that you assume conversations to make community colleges affordable to the Africans who are coming in here. The advantages of doing this are many. For example, when these youths go back home, they will go and revamp vocational training in Africa that the US needs for its development agenda in Africa. The other aspect of my submission is trade. For example, at the Hunts Point in the borough of the Bronx, there are winter trading seasons, which I think should be open to the outside world, especially Kenya. While this is happening to a lesser extent, internationally formalizing this aspect will add currency to the New York City. Where are on the right side of history to make this happen? The African Union is at its peak, engaging the rest of the world in the developmental blueprint of Agenda 2063. At the US Africa Leadership Summit that President Biden hosted in December last year, he pledged millions of dollars towards Africa's development and directed the establishment of the President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States. So we can tap the enormous strength of the diaspora community here in the United States and make sure the insight and experiences are reflected in our work. That is what the President of the United States stated. In the same vein, I am appealing to Mayor Adams to set up an African desk in the New York City Council chambers and harness the information and resources that Africa brings to the world. This desk will be a reserve of advisory insights when it comes to working with Africa. Make no mistake, our mayor, there are a lot of cases, NGOs out there who misrepresent Africa with self-ambitions. But once you emulate what the commitment of the US President during the African Summit you hosted at the White House, New York will be the gold standard for leading on Africa. After all, New York is the host of the United Nations. Therefore, there will never be a right time in history but now. We are living in the time of the urgency to have most of our problems taken care of. Africa is like a beautiful girl dancing in the dark. So by the time people leave, she's left there alone. But she was the most beautiful girl. What happened? Because she's dancing in the dark. The opportunities to engage in Africa are timeless. New York City can also engage by setting up initiatives, even an office on African culture, where the world will interface with us through music, culture, and sports. Our cultural heritage will never be lost. It gets powerful every day. Our resilience is emblematic of what we have conquered and overcome. Just look at the ancestry and cultural heritage of Mayor Eric Adams, or even the first Black president, Barack Obama. These stories can be told through music, cultural and oral traditions. May I reiterate that we are on the right side of history. And before I pen off, I would like to pay respect to our African people who are buried on these grounds where we are standing. They were brought here as slaves. Let us remember, we have our people buried in this land over here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me your ears.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Onomo, for all your contributions to the immigrant community here in New York City and also to the city of New York. Before I introduce our next speaker, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Commissioner of External Affairs, Misotes Munoz, for the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. I know that the Deputy Commissioner would agree with me that our office could not get the work done that we do in the immigrant community without the support and partnership of amazing community leaders that truly get to know how to get stuff done. So with that, I want to introduce someone who has become a great friend and a great ally of ours in the work that we do in city government and in administration. Please welcome Leonard Iyoko of the African Council. Leonard, thank you so much.
Good day, everyone. Where are my Kenyans in place? How are you today? Hello, everyone. How are my African peoples doing? All right, like I joked before, the Kenyans brought the heat, and it's here today, and we like it. Keep doing it. Thank you. It's really nice to have everyone here today. It's very good and joyful to see you all today to mark 60 years of Madaraka, which is really 60 years of internal self-rule by the Kenyans after being colonized for 40 years. As we celebrate this today, we must continue to remember the sacrifices made by those who preceded us in leadership, and also as Africans in the diaspora and those back at home. Those that are leading Kenya and other African countries now, you must continue to chart the path towards real freedom, economic growth, peace, and unity of purpose. Like Commissioner Castro said, the New York City African Council has really been a partner to this administration. And what we do is to advocate for the needs of the Africans in the diaspora and making certain that they are really included, they are really seen, and part of what's going on in New York City. So I'm going to thank Mrs. Onomo. We call her Mama Jennifer. Mama Jennifer, for all of the work that she does within the African community. And also, a round of applause, please. So Mrs. Onomo always gives her best. When she reminded the council that the Madaraka celebration, the 60th anniversary was coming up, we had to really see that it happened. And I'm happy to have been a part of making that come to fruition. I want to thank Mayor Adams for all of the work he's doing. This is a mayor that is really one of us. He doesn't consider himself just a diaspora African, but he sees himself as an African, period. Let's give him a round for that too. The mayor has done a lot of work and continues to work with the African community and of course other immigrant communities here. Thank you to Commissioner Castro, all of the work you do. A round of applause. I call Commissioner Castro the hardest working commissioner in New York City. 70,000 migrants from the southern border, getting up here, finding places for them. We can argue and debate about what ought to be or not to be, but this is the man that's standing there every day to receive them and figure out what needs to be done. Please, another round for him. Commissioner Mermelstein, I thank you for all of the work you and your team do and are doing for us. I thank Ambassador Amayo for coming down to be a part of this. It would have been incomplete without having the ambassador here. A round of applause for Ambassador Amayo and his wife and his team, because he didn't come here by himself. Arthur, you continue to be a great partner in this, not just with me, but with the city, and in making certain that more and more African flags go up here. We call you and you respond. I thank you. And I also thank my brother here in Kumu. Kumu Katalai. Please give him a round of applause. This is a man, one of the best artists that we have here in New York City. His work is really renowned. I am proud of the work that he does. He does a lot of shows, but I'm not pulling plugs for you, but he does a lot of shows. This is something that what he does is something that you need to witness. Thank you, Kumu. I want to thank Kevin Machine. Kevin Machine is standing right there. Kevin chairs the Swahili Institute. When this thing was coming down the pike, I actually met Kevin in DC and found out that he's here. I said, look, we need to really get this thing going. I need you to be involved. Kevin, thank you for all of the work. He partnered with Mrs. Onomo to see that it happened. With this said, I am going to hand this back to Commissioner Castro. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Leonard. And I actually learned that Madaraka translates to power, which is such a wonderful thing to celebrate. Self-governance and the independence and self-determination of our communities. So with that, and as Leonard mentioned, it is great to be here to celebrate it and uplift our immigrant and community leaders. So I'd like to welcome up Kevin Machine of the Swahili Cultural Institute to share a few words with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's an honor to stand on this momentous occasion of Kenya's 60th Independence Day celebration. We are gathered here in a vibrant city of New York under the esteemed presence of the Honorable Mayor Eric Adams, who has graciously officiated this event by raising the flag of Kenya high along the Ambassador of Kenya, Ambassador Lazarus Amayo, and other esteemed diplomats. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the upcoming celebration of World Kiswahili Language Day, which will be observed 7th July next week. As we reflect on the journey towards independence, we must also recognize the broader significance of this moment. The future is bound to look more African, with the youthful population in Africa set to play a pivotal role. It is therefore imperative that we highlight the importance of our children learning Swahili language, as they are the future, and the future is looking more African. We find ourselves at a unique juncture where Swahili is growing in momentum, and only in Kenya, but also across the world. In the state of Georgia, for example, children are learning Swahili through an innovative app, and its expansion is truly encouraging. Swahili has emerged as a language of culture and commerce, bridging the gaps between nations and fostering the mutual understanding. By adopting Swahili as an African language here in New York City, we embrace diversity, promote cultural exchange, and strengthen the ties between our vibrant communities. Moreover, the introduction of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Swahili presents a tremendous opportunity for inter-African trade. As this language continues to grow in prominence, we will witness a multitude of opportunities to utilize Swahili within the organizations such as AU, SADC, and eventually the UN. Swahili has the potential to unite us not only linguistically, but also economically and politically. In light of this, I would like to request the support of the city authorities, through you, Honorable Mayor Adams, in providing dedicated spaces for the development of Swahili, to practice Swahili and cultural language. By doing so, we can nurture a sense of unity among the Africans residing in New York City. Finally, I invite each one of you present here to come and celebrate World Kiswahili Language Day next week. Let us come together as a community, embracing Swahili and its cultural significance, and celebrate the diversity that makes New York City so extraordinary. Before I conclude, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers and the Mayor Merrick Adams for hosting this event. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to you all. Your commitment in fostering cultural understanding and unity is commendable. In the spirit of unity and Swahili cultural appreciation, let us continue to champion Swahili language, spreading its influence far and wide. We march towards a future that is not only African, but also globally interconnected. As we say in Swahili, Asanteni na Mungu wabariki. Thank you and God bless you all.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you for everything you do. As you know, and I've said this before, here language is really important. It is a priority of my office to continue to work towards language justice for all our communities. So, Kevin, today I want to take the opportunity to commit to have our materials at the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs translated into Swahili for our communities to have. So to continue to celebrate and uplift our community organizations who really are an important lifeline for immigrant communities, especially those newly arrived immigrants, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mukora of the New York Kenyan Association.
Amjambo wa Kenya. Thank you so much, Commissioner Castro. Thank you, Mayor, for having us. Kenya, we have a very special way that we welcome, and we're going to do it. Munakumbuka makofi ya kilo? Munakumbuka? Aya, tuanze sasa. Twende. Everyone, please join. Thank you. Asante. Sana. Asante. Bowling Green. Thank you. Mayor. Thank you. Commissioners, simameni. Haya. Simameni. Thank you. Ambassador Amayo, umekuja hapa. Thank you. Mrs. Jennifer, asante. Haya. Makofi sasa. Tunafanya kufunga na kufungua. Twende. Haya. Twende. Funga. Fungua. Haya. Thank you. So, who you see here, part of the New York Kenyans Association. Kenyans love New York. We are here. We love being here, and even more so, we love the leadership that's here. We thank you so much for having us. We thank you so much that we're able to see our flag here that's about to go up. So thank you, Mayor Adams and the team. We really appreciate this. Now, Mrs. Jennifer has spoken ahead. Kevin Mashini has spoken. We have needs. We would love a space for ourselves because we have a lot of passion. We have our Kenyan kids we're raising, the American kids. We want space so that we can learn our languages, Swahili language, and we can really also, as our country enriches us, we want to enrich the country as well. Now, I'm going to do a very short spoken word. We say poem or shairi, and you can follow either in Kiswahili, you can follow in English, or you can follow in both. All right, here we go. Madaraka. Tarehe moja mwezi wa sita mwaka wa 1963 tukapata madaraka Kenya yetu. Jubilations and celebrations, Kenyans rejoicing. Tuliwashinda, tukawapiga mabeberu. Jumping up and down, the fruits of our leaders fighting. Tunawakumbuka wapigania uhuru. Tunayajua majina yao. Dedan Kimathi, Koitalel Arap Samoei, Tom Mboya, Harry Thuku. Tunawakumbuka wengine wengi, wote ni wetu. In leaps and bounds, Kenya is growing. Tukapata nchi yetu ya Kenya, nchi yetu nzuri, usiwe na wivu. Kenyans steady and hardworking. Kenyans free, spreading their wings to New York arriving. Tukafika hapa mji wa New York kwa mawingu. Kenyans in New York, many years after June 1, 1963. Kenyans in New York, many years after June 19, 1865. Kenyans in New York, many years after June 19, 1865. Tukapata wengine walipigania madaraka huku. Tunayajua majina yao. Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. Tuko hapa New York, mji mzuri kweli, usiwe na wivu. Tunafurahia sisi wa Kenya, Kenya nchi yetu. Tunafurahia sisi Amerika, Amerika nchi yetu. Tunafurahia New York, New York mji wetu. Madaraka Day, a day of self-rule, a beautiful day. Juneteenth, a day of freedom, a beautiful day. Madaraka and Juneteenth, jubilation for all. Thank you.
Give it up for Dr. Makarov. Give it up for Kenyans in New York. Let's hear it. Make some noise. Dr. Makarov, I'm going to invite you back up once the mayor arrives so you can lead us in that chant again. So you can experience that. That was amazing. Again, I can't say enough. The work that our immigrant leaders and community organizations do is so important to us and the city. Without them, we couldn't do the work that we do in the community. So with that, I am pleased to introduce to you Ambassador Lazarus Amayo, who has traveled all the way to New York to be here on this special occasion. Ambassador Amayo, if you can share some words with us.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. In absentia, let me recognize the Mayor of New York. I hope he'll join us soon. The leadership of the City of New York, the commissioners that are present here, the New York African Council leadership, the leadership of the Kenyan diaspora here in New York, distinguished guests, fellow Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed honored on this occasion to witness the raising of the Kenyan flag here in Manhattan. This is a significant event when, of course, it is linked to Madaraka Day, that is 1st of June, 1963, the day on which Kenya obtained internal self-governance. Independence was 6 months yet to come. So on 1st of June, 1963, we became what was described as a country allowed to set its priorities, but we were still under the British government. 6 months later, on 12th of December 1963, Kenya became now an independent country with Mzee Jomo Kenyatta as the Prime Minister, but we were not a republic yet. We were like Canada or Australia, which are independent, have their own government, but the head of state was still, in our case, Her Majesty the Queen. It took another 12 months. December 1964, 12th December 1964 is when now Kenya became a republic, with the Prime Minister Jomo Kenyatta becoming the first president of independent Kenya as a republic. And so we are honored that you've joined us. And I must thank you for the attention span. I was here around midday, and I met Mr. Radir here, and also met Dr. Kinyungu, and a few others, and they've been here ever since. But on this occasion, the leadership of the City of New York, let me acknowledge that we have a large number of Kenyans that have chosen New York as their home, and they have continued to contribute in many facets. They are here in their own, some as lawyers, some as doctors, some as law enforcement officers, some as firefighters, some as caregivers, owners of SMEs, various categories. Not forgetting that they are also here and are important because they are voters. And so, what we have for Kenya, Kenya has many superlatives: a gateway to Africa, home of the safari. The big game you talk about in Africa, you will not talk about them without mentioning Kenya. We are also an important link to the rest of Africa. You come to Kenya, and through Kenya, you'll be able to reach virtually every capital city of Africa within 2 hours. And Kenya Airways regional manager for Americas is here. Mr. Amayo will tell you that, since we established even direct flights from New York to Nairobi. The other superlatives is, what would New York Marathon be without Kenya? In most cases, it is only news if Kenya doesn't win. We have always won most of the New York Marathon races here, whether it's for men or women, and resources are plenty. We'll continue to participate and add flavor to the city of New York through participation in events of that nature. But we are not forgetting that just not far away from here is the Wall Street. New York hosts the largest stock exchange globally, with a market capitalization of 26 trillion and 2,400 listed companies. No city compares with New York. And so in December last year, after the US-Africa Summit, His Excellency President William Ruto visited New York, the Wall Street, and participated in the closing bell at the stock exchange. Commissioners, in the absence of the mayor, my greatest plea would be to say, Kenya, I'm told His Worship the Mayor is behind me. May I have the privilege of at least saying hello? Yeah, you see, God only gave us 2 eyes that look in front. You need somebody else to see behind to remind me that His Worship the Mayor is here with us. Your Worship, my greatest plea is to say that Africa is ready for business with the United States. Would be glad if Your Worship could lead a business delegation to Africa, and Kenya offers itself as a gateway through which the business persons from the city of New York can look at the promising investment opportunities in Africa, which has very high returns. And why do I say so, Your Worship? With a population of 1.3 billion people and a largely youthful population, Africa is a continent to watch now. We have the largest number of fast-growing economies. If you take the Kenyan case, we grow at a rate of 5 to 6% for the last 15 years. And we are the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, the fifth in the whole of Africa, most liberalized, with protection for investment, liberalized foreign exchange regime, and a gateway, as I said earlier on, to the whole of Africa. Would be glad to receive you in Africa. And as I said, my own president was here and participated in the event of closing the stock exchange of that ringing of the bell, closing of the bell on that occasion. Now, because His Worship the Mayor is behind me, I'll not say many more remarks, but to say that we in Kenya have warm and cordial, multifaceted relations with the United States, which was subsequently upgraded to that of strategic partnership in 2018. And we are keen on the 5 pillars that govern our relations, starting with, of course, the economic pillar, followed by the defense pillar, as well as the third one, which is cooperation on matters of cooperation on regional and multilateral relations. And fourth, of course, we have the cooperation in matters that deal with health. And so we look forward to continued collaboration with the United States. Right now, we are discussing strategic partnership for investment as a framework for continued collaboration and economic relations between Kenya and the US, noting last but not least that we are using AGOA, and through you, Your Excellency, Africa looks forward to renewal of AGOA so that it can continue to serve as a framework for trade and investment between our two continents and our two countries. I therefore take this opportunity to thank His Worship the Mayor and his leadership for this rare opportunity given to us, and we look forward to many more that will come. Na kwa haya machache, wananchi wa Kenya, hamjambo? Lakini inaonekana kama umepigwa na baridi ama nini. Hamjambo? Your Worship, this is one of our heritages, that we have so many African languages. Anybody who has gone to school in Kenya speaks at least 3 languages. The mother tongue, Kiswahili and English, plus any other that we can be able to have on board. I thank you for your attention, not forgetting to thank the organizers for making it possible. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Let's hear it for Kenyans in York. Come on! Let's hear it for Mayor Mercado. So now I am pleased to introduce our cultural performance for today, Nikumu Katala.
Jambo, jambo. Kenyan, oh liberty, we say Kenyan. I said, Kenyan, oh liberty. Oh, liberty, oh, Africa.
I want to thank you all for this opportunity. I want to say asante sana to His Worship, the Mayor of New York, and also to Ambassador Amayo. My name is Sabina Wasonga Gitau. I'm a storyteller from Kenya, and I'm honored to be here today. My first grade teacher was an American from New York, all the way back in Kenya. So this is full circle for me. I want to tell a short story of a little boy who asked his grandfather, "What are you doing with your hands?" And his grandfather said, "I need you to bring me seeds. I need you to bring me sticks. I need you to bring me seeds. I need you to bring me reeds, and also bring me wood and sticks and string." So what happened? This old Mzee Juma was working with his hands, and the little boy wanted to understand, what is my grandfather doing? And the grandfather took the seeds and told his grandfather, the seeds are like us people. We look different on the outside. Some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us are fast runners, some of us are not fast runners. We are different on the outside, but on the inside, we are the same. Utu, can we say utu? The Utu. Utu is the Swahili word for humanness. So we are different seeds, but we have the same humanness. Then the grandfather continued working with his hands, and then he said, "Oh, my grandson, these are reeds." Took the reeds and put them together so tightly, and told his grandfather, "These reeds always stay tightly together." Can we all say umoja?
Umoja.
They stay tightly together in unity. Unity, umoja. And then the grandfather kept on working with his hands, and the grandson said, "What is that now? Why do you have string? He was tying the reeds together with string, and he said, this string that ties the reeds together is love. Love and respect for our culture. Love and respect for the things that make us who we are. And then, lastly, grandfather took wood, and the grandson said, what is this, grandfather? What are you doing? He said, the wood protects the seed inside the reeds held together by the string. So can we say Utu?
Utu.
In South Africa, they say Ubuntu. Can we say Utu?
Utu.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Unity. Can we say Umoja?
Umoja.
Unity. Umoja.
Umoja.
Can we say peace? Amani.
Amani.
Peace. Amani.
Amani.
Can we say upendo? Love. Upendo.
Upendo.
Now, if you give me a second, I will show you what the grandfather was making for his grandson. He was making a kayamba. You see the wood in there. You see the string. You see the seeds, the reeds. Inside there's seeds. Now, my brother from Congo is going to help me, and we're going to join in together. Oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh. Oh, Lily, oh, say Songea. Oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh, oh, Lily, oh, Songea. Oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh, oh, Lily, oh,
Songea.
Kata mwendo.
Songea.
Na ufike.
Songea.
Kata mwendo.
Songea.
Na ufike.
Songea.
Oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh, oh, Lily, oh, Songea. Oh, Lily, oh, Lily, oh, oh, Lily, oh, Songea. Kata mwendo.
Songea.
Na ufike.
Songea.
Kata mwendo.
Songea.
Na ufike. Asante sana. Let us stay united like the seeds inside this kayamba. If you stay united in love and keep your culture, look what happens. Even if you get sickness like COVID, you get attacks, you are safe in there. We're different, but we're the same. Asante sana.
Give it up for our cultural performers of today. And now it is my honor to introduce to you the mayor of the greatest city in the world, Mayor Eric Adam.
Happy Madaraka, and much to you. When you think about it, don't be disconnected from the importance of the moment. When you see that right here on this spot was where African ancestors were sold into slavery, when you see some of the impact of what has happened to the continent of Africa, it shows the resiliency of the people. And do not remove yourself from the success that New York is one of the most important cities in America. And so to my people of Kenya, just as you fought for your independence 50 years ago, you have to acknowledge the success. When I went to Africa, one of my 7 visits, I saw that our ancestors left in slavery, but I returned with the mayoralty. There's an African that is the mayor of the city of New York. And you should never remove yourself from that reality. Today, we are raising the flag of Kenya. The first time in the history of this city that this flag is going to be raised. It is going to be raised because I believe that this city is representative from all the groups. The number of countries that have had their flag raised here for the first time. As mayor, I must not only be substantive to deal with public safety, to deal with education and housing, to deal with homelessness. I also must be symbolic. I must send a signal that no matter where you come from on the globe, if you're from South America, Central America, from Europe, from any place, you are part of the New York experience. And so today, when we raise this flag, we raise the energy and spirit of the people of Kenya, that you are part of the New York experience. Your contribution, your commitment, your song, your dance, your food, your culture, your energy is united with the greatness of this great city. So I thank you. Let's continue to lift each other up with song, with encouragement, with the spirit and energy of our ancestors as we continue to bring our city and country to where we want it to be. Greatest city on the globe, have the greatest people on the globe. Let's celebrate the independence of Kenya today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mayor. Mayor, actually, before we raise the flag, Ambassador Amayo has a gift for you to present to you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Let's give it up again for our Ambassador. Good to see you, brother.
We grow the best black tea and coffee globally. A taste of Kenyan tea and Kenyan coffee will make a difference.
Thank you very much.
And the immigrant community, diaspora groups have a gift for the mayor as well.
We want to say thank you. And I do want to apologize, Mr. Mayor. We broke protocol a little bit, but we were so excited. We're so happy. And so please forgive us and the team. I apologize, please. Makofi, haraka. Makofi, twende. Makofi. Asanti, Mayor. Asanti, sana. Simameni, tafadhali. Simameni, Mayor. Thank you for having us. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. Makofi, fungua, pop. Mayor, we have something here for you. We Kenyans have now become known for the Kenyan bracelet. We want to give one to you. Makofi! Thank you. We also have our wonderful culture, the Maasai, and we want to, I know it's a hot day, Mayor, please apologize, but we have this for you. Briefly, please, if you can. Makofi.
Yeah. Mayor, this is for you to be able to come to Kenya. We fly non-stop between New York and Nairobi, and it's a non-stop flight, only 15 hours. We fly daily, and we look forward to having you on board.
Only Kenya would do a commercial.
We're good. And now please join us in our flag raising ceremony, first with the raising of the flag of the United States and with the United States national anthem. Now please join us in raising for the first time at Bowling Green the Kenyan flag along with the Kenyan national anthem.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We want to do also just acknowledge that's here with us is Don Martin. He's the Mayor Pro Tem at Houston City Council member, and also Everett Pollard, Houston City Council member as well. And we want to thank them for participating with us today. Sorry.
Take pictures.
Good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And as we take photos, that concludes our flag raising ceremony. My name is Manuel Castro. I'm the Commissioner for the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. I want to thank every one of you for joining us today. I want to thank the Ambassador, his team, Commissioner Melmo's team, his team, all the community organizations, our cultural performers, and all our community organizations for joining us today. Thank you so much, and until next time.
Hey, how are you? Sorry. One more. Queen Mother? Sorry, let's back up a little bit so I can also take it. Right here for me, please.
Wow. You're good.
Let's back up.
We'll send it to you, Queen Mother. We'll send it. One more.
Can I get one? Let me take one more. I got it. Oh. You gotta go. Yeah.
DJ.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
How are you, sister? Excuse me. Sorry.
You got two phones. Guys, I gotta get out of here.